Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and in today's video I want to raise your awareness on the aircraft's energy state and explain to you why I'm talking so much about energy while flight simmers typically talk about being high or low. And the truth is that we, in the real aviation, always think about our aircraft's energy status and not about being high or low. You can be exactly on your computed profile, but you can still be completely wrong on your aircraft's energy state. Now, in this video I'm not going too much into how to recover such a situation, because I have done a detailed video about that in the past, which I'm going to link in the video description below so that you can review your correct measures to get back onto your target energy. But I want to rather raise a little bit of awareness and explain to you why it is so important. So right now we are approaching A Coruña airport in northern Spain, and you can see that we are flying exactly on the VNAV path, we're flying along the target route, and we're on speed. So everything is looking good. And like this, we're actually right on the correct energy profile of the airplane. However, many flight simmers only think about being high or low, but they don't think about their energy. So a little bit of basic theory before we start with this. An airplane's energy state comprises of potential energy, kinetic energy, and chemical energy. Now, we've got the potential energy over here in terms of our altitude, we got the kinetic energy in terms of our airspeed, and then we got chemical energy in terms of our fuel. Now, only two of them you can convert between one another, and that is kinetic and potential energy. In other words, when you are high, then you can do a rapid descent in order to increase your kinetic energy, and if you are, for example, quick, then you can simply pull the nose up to convert your kinetic into potential energy. Chemical energy, aka fuel, can be converted into both. However, you cannot convert potential or kinetic energy into chemical energy, so obviously once fuel is burned, it is gone. So let's talk about what you have available and why it is so important to always be aware of your energy. So your total energy, as I mentioned, is comprised of three different parts. However, we'll leave the chemical energy out of this because the fuel is actually not that important in this calculation as long as you have sufficient fuel available. But rather we'll look into the other two. So your airplane can be perfectly on your calculated VNAV path, and this already assumes that your VNAV profile has been pre-computed correctly. You can be perfectly on the correct altitude, but you can be much too fast, and overall you will be high on energy. So let me show you what I mean with that. We'll go speed and event and increase our speed to 330 knots. And you will now see that even though we are showing to be on our VNAV path, our total energy is going to be much too high. And for that reason, in the airlines, we basically don't talk about being high or being low, but rather we talk about being high on energy or low on energy, because it is the look into both that makes things so important. So let me quickly reset my altimeters here, going down to altitude 5000 now. And you can see that right now we are at 330 knots. And we are about on our target profile, or on our target altitude, but we are definitely high on energy. So if I'm now closing the speed window again, thrust levers are going back, you can see our target speed should be 245 now. By the way, this is a really cool feature of the Boeing 737 aircraft, something that unfortunately the Airbuses don't have, and I'm not sure about the bigger Boeings. But if we look at the target speed over here while we are in VNAV with the speed window closed, assuming that VNAV is not in approach logic, then this actually shows you your target speed. Or rather, the speed that you should have. Target sounds so easy, but the target speed actually is the speed that you should have in order to be on energy. So right now we can see we are 600 feet high and we are like 50 knots too fast. In other words, we are high on energy. Now many flight simmers correct it like this. They just go into speed in event, they pick up a higher airspeed, and now they're descending down to catch the altitude profile, and then they think that they are back on profile and on energy. But that is not the case. In fact, they are still high on energy because the speed is still too high. And in order to fly a satisfactory approach, you need both to be on speed and on altitude. In other words, your total energy needs to be correct, while many flight simmers only think about their potential energy in terms of altitude. So right now we're about to capture VNAV path again. We show on altitude, but as you can see, we're actually much too quick and so much too high on energy. And this is where a cool feature of the airplane comes into view, and some of you will probably recall my recent video about the vertical situation display. Now the vertical situation display actually is an energy display. As you can see over here, we can see our altitude, but we can also see the point where we are going to catch our target airspeed. And you can see this is at the end of the arrow, and at the end of the arrow means we will never catch our target speed. In other words, even though we are showing on profile, we are much too high on energy because we are never going to catch our speed. Now, if you are looking for proper ways for correcting this, then I have done a separate video on the topic, which I'm going to link in the video description below, so be sure to have a look at that. And for this particular video, I'm going to leave you with the look at the vertical situation display. I've just extended my speed brake. You can see now our speed reduction point, or rather the point where we are going to intercept our target speed, has just come back. And you can see on the VSD now that in about 4 nautical miles we're going to be back on speed. And that is why the VSD is such an important tool, and why I do not consider the VSD as a vertical situation display, as the name would suggest, but rather as an altitude, or rather as an energy management tool. Alright, that's going to be it for today's video. I do hope that you learned something in this one. I do hope that this might clarify why in some cases you think you are on profile, but then all of a sudden it catches you out, you are surprised, and you are ending up in a point where you certainly do not want to be. So, thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed this one, and if you did, then do let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you think about and if you have actually looked at things this way already, or if this was something new to you. I'm very much looking forward to your feedback. Thank you very much for watching. If you did like the video, leave a like on YouTube as well, as it does help with the algorithms. And finally, if you're up for more, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.